Hello, this is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, August 25th, 2021. Welcome to our weekly swing trade ideas video where we highlight a variety of technical stock scans based on specific technical price patterns, all of which we're going to break down for you in just a moment. As always, these videos are sponsored by our partners over at Investors Business Daily. We curate long ideas from their stock lists. You can get access to their stock lists with a link in the description of this video. So I'd like to start off just taking a quick glance over how the market has been performing. So if we look in the top left here, I've got the US averages, and you can see if I sort on this 5-day return, we have the Russell 2000, which has been leading this bounce. You can see here, it got back to the low end of this range and it's seen a nice 3-4 day bounce. Look at the volume that's been declining on this bounce, coming back into the middle of this range. Of course, we're recording this right now intraday, so this isn't the final volume for today's session, but you can see that bounce is starting to maybe weaken here a bit in urgency, and we're kind of back to that middle of the range. And in terms of sectors here, we've got semiconductors at the top of the list. But when I look through sectors right now, I gotta say the best looking sector probably across the different constituents, the components that make up the index, XLF financials. I know it's not the highest beta, sexiest sort of sector out there, but this is probably one of the best looking sectors structurally as I look across the board here. You can see it's actually, kind of surging up today. I mean, it's up 4 days in a row. It's a chase right now, but there are lots of components kind of under the hood here that are looking pretty strong in the financial sector. So that's kind of the top level view right there. And now kind of going through the usual drill here, we're going to look at some different stock scans that are kind of all highlighting some different patterns. I've got a few different looks. Got to say it was pretty difficult to find a lot of exciting stocks today when I was going through some of the scans, at least about 30 minutes ago when I was curating this list. So it's a short list this week, and I just want to highlight kind of a few different names, a few different looks. So let's jump right into it. So the first here is CRWD. So this is Crowdstrike Holdings, and this is hitting our breakout scan or 52-week highs on volume scan and a couple of our momentum scans. So for traders that are perhaps looking at this, yesterday was the big gap up. This was the big kind of day to take notice yesterday when we saw the, 3x increase in volume and a gap higher of about 8%. And so that move yesterday got us right back to these prior highs. And now you can see today we are trying to continue and make new all-time highs. If I go to the weekly chart, this is really what I was scanning on and finding this opportunity on. So this was our breakout scan, our fresh breakout scan, which was looking on a weekly time frame. And so when we think about trading this, or if we think about the traders that would, potentially want to take a position here, I like looking at this on a longer term horizon. So like we saw on the daily chart, you are a bit of a chase mode here. If you're looking for just like a day or two swing, that's a little more dicey in my eyes. So when I'm looking at this, I'm kind of more speaking to a longer weekly kind of hold here. And I would want to see this weekly close go out on Friday at new weekly closing high. So basically I want to see this stay above 270 into Friday for continuation here and for a new all-time weekly closing high with some heavier volume coming in. So that's our fresh breakout scan there, working on a weekly time frame. And the other ticker that is showing up here is Palo Alto. Now this one obviously is again just much more of a chase here, and this is a weekly chart we're looking at, but you can see just again highlighting some momentum here. If you're looking for names that are moving, that have catalysts, Palo Alto here, networks breaking out to new highs. It's up 21% this week. If I throw Bollinger Bands on here, we're going to be outside of them on the weekly chart. So again, showing the extension. If I look on a daily chart, our entire range today is outside the upper Bollinger Band. So buyer beware on that. But, from a pure, again, momentum chase breakout factor, Palo Alto here looks interesting to maybe add to the watch list and just keep an eye on it if it can settle back down. But again, that comes from our breakout scan on our website. Now let's switch gears and switch to a bearish idea. I'm going to go all the way to URBN, Urban Outfitters. So this is the weekly chart. Let me just show it here first. You can see that the weekly chart hasn't quite broken any structure. And this is what makes it kind of interesting, because we haven't gone anywhere since April. It's a very, very, very tight setup here. And so this makes it all the more interesting. If I look on a daily chart, we can see, and this has already started to bounce since I first picked this scan up, or this stock up about 30 minutes ago. So this here had seen a big move yesterday. So it was up 5.44%. And then take a look at the action today. We essentially negated all of yesterday's action. We actually kind of left everybody in here in the dust that purchased yesterday, and we are selling off aggressively. And this is going to be a heavier volume day because we're recording this intraday than yesterday. So I think this is interesting, again, from more of a tactical opportunity here. And the fact that we just rejected the upper end of that range pretty violently. Obviously, I'd want to see how today closes. And then, as we talked about, the weekly setup still shows no change of character. So you really need to get back below, 35, 34 to start making a meaningful topping pattern here. So jury is obviously still out on this. This is more of a speculative type of name, but this is hitting our high volume week close scan. And if I were to run it right now, it probably wouldn't show up because it has bounced so much off of the lows. So I'm still going to obviously highlight this here in today's video because I think it's interesting to see how this closes out the session. And if this is your cup of tea, if you're looking at this and you're even just wanting to look at this broader consolidation, then this is a good opportunity to keep an eye on. Obviously, if this starts to, continue to rally here and gets back up to the top end of the range, then my opinion changes here. And I like this as a potential long setup if it can get over 41. And so that's where we are impartial to how this ultimately resolves itself. It's in a sideways range, sort of just respecting kind of the volume that has come in here and willing to sort of adapt to how the market ends up breaking from this range. So URBN, that is hitting our high volume week close scan. And last but not least, something very similar to this big long consolidation, we have WSC. WSC is hitting our ultimate consolidation scan, and this is on a long-term basis. So what it's essentially looking for is the sideways range, very much just like Urban that we just looked at. It's looking for sideways complacency, overlapping bars, going absolutely nowhere. It's called our ultimate consolidation scan on our website, and you can see it here in WSC. Again, I can go to a weekly chart and you can see just how sideways and boring the stock has been. But notice if I zoom out here, it's had a hell of a run since the lows, up 300% from last year. And it's just really consolidating very nicely here through time. So it's something, again, where we can keep an eye on it. We can wait to see if it starts to break over, call it $30, or if it starts to roll over or roll below $26. Those would be the goalposts that I would be keeping an eye on here for WSC. So that is our last idea for you on the sideways range consolidation scan. So that's what I got. Not a whole lot today. Again, nothing was too exciting when I was out there scanning. There was no big directional bias or lots of names to pick from. Some days there's lots of opportunity that I see. Other days it's pretty slim. Today's more on that slim side. So hopefully some of these ideas are interesting and helpful for you. Trying to go a little more in depth into how you could trade them, or just the rules that go into these types of trading systems. Again, you have to do your homework on all of these ideas. And like we talked about at the top of the show here, XLF for the sector play here. Financials looking interesting, but 4 days up. So again, a little bit of buyer beware. That's it for me. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you're looking at this week. Anything stick out to you? Any of these ideas appealing to you? Love to hear them in the comments below. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching every Wednesday. Trade ideas just like this. Be sure to check back here and subscribe if you want to stay up to date. Thanks so much.